Hi to all the lovely people. You all are once again most welcome to Tutorials Point. Well, you hire an employee for your team or for your organization. Now the team member is doing great and is generating revenue and everything. Now here comes the challenge. What is it? Well, salary discussions, yes, or salary negotiations. Well, salary negotiations are, often the toughest conversations to have with your employees or your team members. Now, how do you conduct successful salary discussions? Well, here in this video, we will discuss how to conduct successful salary discussions with your employees. Well, what is it that is so strange about these discussions, or what is it that makes these discussions so kind of the toughest conversations to have with your employees or your teammates? Well, it is clear cut expectations. Yes, that's right. Well, which actually brings us to the very first point to conduct successful salary discussions, and that is setting clear expectations during onboarding. Yes, that's right. Well, during the process of onboarding, or if I would say the process itself of onboarding, is actually as equally tough for the recruiter as it is for the person who is appearing for the interview, because both of them, like the recruiter and the person who is appearing for the interview, have to give their best. Otherwise, it would kind of be a mutual failure, right? If the recruiter doesn't, or the recruiter fails to recruit the right person, it is going to be a huge failure in the long run, and so is it going to be for the person who has appeared for the interview, right? So setting clear and cut expectations during the process of onboarding is extremely important if you actually want to have successful salary discussions in future with whomever you have recruited. Well, here is the second point which also you need to take cognizance of while you are conducting successful salary discussions, and that is setting clear cut goals and targets. Well, yes, that is right. Because now ambiguity is something which, as I just told you in the starting as well, that is something which is kind of going to make these discussions or these conversations extremely tough, right? Because see, whenever we work in an organization, the people whom we work with, it kind of, after a certain point in time, there is a personal relationship, right? Now then, amidst that personal relationship, when you have these salary discussions going on, it kind of creates, it actually turns out very, very tough. So which is why if you are able to set clear cut targets for the person, it is going to be rather easy, right? So rather than the person demanding, or rather than the employee or your teammate demanding a certain amount of hike, the numbers are going to speak for themselves, right? So setting clear cut targets is extremely important, and it definitely helps a lot to have great and successful salary discussions. Well, the next point, which also is going to help you a lot to actually conduct successful discussions, and that is setting clear timelines for performance review. Well, any organization or any company is only going to hire someone if there are certain goals and responsibilities which so and so person, whoever is hired, needs to fulfill, right? So if those goals and responsibilities are given proper timelines, and there are set and exact timelines which are already there in place for performance review as well, again, this process is going to be like a well-oiled engine, or rather, so to say, it is actually going to be seamless, right? So if you are able to decide proper timelines for performance review, be it 1 month, or be it 3 months or 6 months, however is it works for your organization, it is going to make these discussions very easy, and for you to convey your message, or for you to justify whatever decision that you have taken, is going to be rather easy, right? So setting clear expectations regarding your performance reviews and your targets is actually going to help you a lot. Well, again, another important point which also plays a great role is actually being open to salary rise discussions. Yes, that's right. So actually what happens is, there is, whenever someone is working in your organization, somewhere deep inside, that person, that employee also has an aorta of insecurity or fear of not being able to get the kind of salary or the kind of salary hike which he or she deserves. And that is precisely what would actually propel the employee to move forward either towards switching, or would lower the productivity, or there are so many other things associated with it, right? So if there is an open discussion, or if you as an HR or the recruiting manager or the head of the organization is kind of portraying this message to your employees that yes, you are open for discussions, and you're not kind of just letting them away, or you're not procrastinating these discussions, it is gonna I mean that the relation, or it is gonna actually help you to create that bond and that connect with your employee, and would make the employee feel and believe that yes, it's not that you are procrastinating, or you are in a way just running away from these discussions, but you are open for it, and you will take the right and the most genuine step as far as any salary hike is concerned, right? So you are gonna do such a discussion with the employee which would be as open, and that can only be there when there is that level of trust and understanding, and which would come if you are kind of paying attention, and if you are letting the person or the employee know that yes, you are open to salary discussions if they feel as and when they are needed, right? Well, again, the last and the most important point, which actually is kind of the golden rule or the thumb rule for any successful salary negotiation, and that is be fair as much as you can as far as giving the negotiation or giving the compensation is concerned. Well, now this is something which is extremely subjective, or which is extremely kind of a function of many factors. So as much as you can, as much as the organization, as much as the revenue, or as much as the work, or that environment allows you, try and be as much as fair as you can as far as giving the hike is concerned. And or rather, I'd say easier said than done. Try to keep your personal and professional relations apart when the process of salary negotiation is going on, as much as you can, because see, this is something which, as I already told you, is easier said than done, and would just sound way too theoretical. But yes, this is the thumb rule or the golden rule for a successful salary negotiation. Well, I'm sure at least a few of these points are going to help you a lot if you try and apply them. And I'll see you again in the next video. Till that time, keep learning with tutorials, point and tutorials. Have a good day.